Hi guys. So we're back. It's been a while since our last episode. So I got inspired when I delivered a seminar sa Rizal Technological University just recently about broadcasting. And recently I saw a post na may pinagtatalunan sa isang BTT group. It's a group chat or it's a group about coverage. So I thought of making this episode to make some clarifications and also to add on the knowledge of people interested in broadcasting on the topic. Our topic for this episode is the coverage or broadcast coverage and what it really means. So I hope you'll find this episode educational, informative, and also enjoyable. So let us proceed. So I have prepared several slides to explain. So what we always know as a non-technical person, or most non-technical persons would associate coverage simply as the presence of a signal and the ability to receive the signal, be it radio or television. So, ganun siya. Now, however, we need to clarify what do we mean when we say coverage. Okay? So, the first one would be coverage based on regulation. So, there are existing regulations to ensure that there would be order and there will be rules-based operation among broadcasters. So regulations are derived from government and international treaties. So when we say international treaties, we have the International Telecommunications Union that defines operational limits in order to guide broadcasters and regulators in each countries on what are the operating matters that are recommended to ensure harmonious operations among various broadcasters. In the case of the Philippines, we have the National Telecommunications Commission that implements the regulations, and it is supported by the Kapisanan ng mga Broadcasters sa Pilipinas, or the KBP, being a self-governing and self-regulating body for broadcasters. It's a voluntary organization, it's not mandatory. However, majority of the broadcasters in the Philippines are members of the KBP. So when we say regulation, there is a published rule regarding the emission limits. It means the amount of power that a particular broadcaster is permitted to operate. That power serves as the basis to protect existing services, which means if there would be a new broadcast service that would be introduced, it must not interfere existing and duly enfranchised service. So ganun siya. You should not create interference. So you should follow what is being provided by the NTC as a rule to your permit, based on your permit. So based on international treaties, coverage would be something like this. So based on ITU, you will have to operate based on your power or based on your ERP. So there are several factors. You have to consider the antenna height or your tower height, your coordinates, the antenna gain, and so on and so forth. But to simplify, this would represent the extent of coverage for a particular station given an ERP to a certain location. In this example, this would be a signal emanating in the center of the National Capital Region. So if you would look at the encircled portion, that illustrates an area that did not obtain sufficient signal level to warrant what we call an acceptable signal level to decode the signal. So in this location, we would represent, or we would identify this area as the Marikina Ridge area. So stretching from Well, Marikina going down papuntang side ng Las Piñas on the side of Laguna de Bay. So this would represent a coverage simulation for a particular station that would extend on the west side 10, 20, 30, 40, up to 50, maybe 55 kilometers tumawid sa may Manila Bay papuntang Bataan area, and then from the center of the radiation going towards the northwest, so papuntang Pampanga area, the effective distance would be 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe 45 kilometers. And then going to south para Tagaytay would be 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So na-limit siya by 50 because of yung ridge ng Tagaytay. So that would represent the propagation of this particular station, and in this case this will be submitted and approved by the NTC, assuming that the other conditions are followed. So yan yung number 1 by regulation. First, you should follow what is written in your permit, and then you should not interfere existing and duly enfranchised broadcasters. Next would be coverage by technical planning and design. This would be for engineers. So when we define or design a particular coverage, there are several considerations that we take into account. So ano ba ang pinag-uusapan natin dito? Are we talking of outdoor reception or indoor reception? So dito na nagkakaiba-iba minsan yung approach ng mga engineers. So first one, we'll talk about outdoor reception, and the assumption is that the receiving antenna of the viewer would be a 10-meter pole, and then the antenna is connected to that. So 10 meter, that would be around 30 feet. So if you have a very high elevation of your antenna, then chances are you'll get better reception. If you would look at the propagation here, so you would have lesser of that white area in the middle on the Marikina, the ridge of Marikina going towards the area of Las Piñas on the side of Laguna de Bay, because of the height of the receiving antenna na mataas or very high. Next, we simulate using a 3-meter elevation antenna. So bumaba ng konti yung position antenna, and then look at what happens to the coverage. So yun, napansin nyo lumip ng konti in green. I'll go back to the 10-meter antenna again. Okay. So we're talking of the height, not the length of the antenna itself. So pag bumaba yung receiving position, lumit yung green, so nakita nyo yung effective yung green, so mas kumapal yung red, humina yung signal. Outdoor pa rin to. And then next, we'll simulate using 1.5 meter, which is the normal height ng, or the what we call the height for portable sana. Okay, pero gawin natin the portable fixed 1.5 meter outdoor reception. So mas lumit pa ulit siya ng konti from 3 meter. So 3 meter would be good enough for a little bit on the roof, pero halos same roof level lang siya. And then yung portable level 1.5 meter, ito siya, so nabawasan. And then the next one would be indoor reception. If the antenna is inside the house, what would happen to the signal? Sorry, outdoor pa rin ba? Yes, outdoor. Ito na siya. So if you would look at the one on your left, that would represent indoor reception. Okay, this part. Okay, and then if we zoom in, ito siya ngayon. Ito na yung gap doon sa area na binabanggit ko kanina. Okay, so if we go back, ito yung 1.5 meter outdoor, and then now we move to indoor reception. Okay, mas lumiit siya, and then when we magnify, the areas that will not receive the signal very close to the transmitting antenna or the transmission facility of the broadcaster, maraming lugar dyan ang hindi rin makakakuha ng service. So, on the technical and on the planning side of the engineers, we consider the reception condition of the intended viewers. Usually you do a technical study or a survey, how many people uses outdoor and how many uses indoor, and then you design your network based on the receiving condition that has been selected by the management. So as a technical person, you have to run all of this simulation, your studies, and then you have to present this to the upper management for them to decide. When we say upper management, those people involved in the sales of airtime and the program, and then the other part would be the people who will finance the project for the expansion, for the delivery of transmission services, and also that's the owner, yung mga may-ari ng station. So, and then third would be coverage based on the intention of the marketing and the finance people. So when we say marketing and finance people, this would be based on either coverage by territorial boundaries. So let's say if we look at the map here, so let's say Pampanga and Bulacan, so the intention is just to provide 100% coverage on those areas, illuminate them. Okay, so that is based on territorial boundaries. So if my intention is to cover NCR, Cavite, Laguna, Antipolo area, Bulacan, Pampanga, and Bataan, then the objective would be easy for the engineers to just ensure that those areas are properly illuminated or properly covered by your signal. This is based on territorial boundaries. Next would be based on city level. Okay, so which means the number of household. So you don't really pay attention much on the territorial boundaries. However, you target specifically the number of household. Okay, so there's about 15 to 18 million TV household in the Philippines, and each household would have 3 to 4 people, mga ganun. Okay, ang estimate. So you target the households. Okay, now that would require a more thorough study because you have to identify where are the households. So by estimation, what we do is we determine urban areas and then distinguish the rural areas. The location of the physical house, mas saan sila concentrated, and then that's where you beam the signals. So it doesn't matter if you do not cover the whole territorial boundaries. If you cover the concentration of the houses, then based on definition, you have achieved your objective. Okay. And then lastly would be very loosely approached would be the based on population. So we know that people are distributed quite randomly in different locations, and the person itself is not a receiver, but the point of congregation of people ang basis natin dito. So usually the house that has the television. So before, because the basis of this is that there was a time na hindi naman nabubuhat ang TV or you cannot watch TV while you're traveling, you're in the bus or in the train. So that's why we use the reference as household. So it's a point of congregation for people to watch the same program. So now, because of digital technology, people now are empowered to watch their TV programs using their mobile devices. So, but it will be harder to track the movement of people daily because it's quite random on how they take the routes, where do they go, so those kind of things. Okay, now if we go now to the determination of the concentration of people, so this is a Google image of Metro Manila and the other cities. So if we try to zoom in, compare kanina yung sa indoor reception. So yung nasa left represents the areas. Yung green would have a reception, red would be marginal. Sometimes you would lose reception, sometimes there's reception, and the white areas represent areas that will not be able to receive the signal. So if we refer to the Google image on your right, and I placed here the white boundary dashed line here to represent yung tong line na to, yung sa river that would divide NCR to region 4A Antipolo area, Cainta, ayan. So nasa gitna talaga siya na itong Marikina. So you would see here na maraming tao dito. Okay, to highlight further, I have here an additional image. Yan. So sa bandang itaas ito, okay. So yung itaas, this portion. So if you could see my cursor, this one, and then relate to the Google image, yung dark here na forested area. If we move to the next image here, magnified, you would see yung dami ng bahay dito. Unfortunately, sa sobrang dami ng bahay na yan dito, and then if we reflect to the coverage simulation, wala siyang signal. So this would be bad for the marketing people. So this would be a point of reference for the engineers planning the coverage, how to solve this problem. So not all broadcasters will make the same approach to implement their coverage. This would be a strategy of the engineers of the different networks, how to improve their transmission. Okay, next would be a supplementary image again. So I have highlighted the red, the blue, and the yellow areas for the areas that will not be receiving a signal. So I have here the red image here showing na mandaming bahay. So marami TV household. The blue also on the areas that will not receive the signal. Puro bahay din. And then yung yellow square. Ganon din. Because this is Mega Manila. So medyo cramped na yung location ng mga bahay. At maraming household. So may kasabihan sa broadcast, you win in Metro Manila or NCR, then you win throughout the country. So kasabihan yun sa broadcasting. So especially here in the Philippines. So things that we need to consider as an engineer to plan efficiently your transmission by identifying the best location, best parameter combination of your ERP that consists of the transmitter power, the gain, and the strategy to target either outdoor or indoor reception. To give you further, and as an example, two stations using identical transmission parameters, ang pinagkaiba lang is location. One is in Antipolo, and then the other one is in Quezon City. So they are supposed to cover the same area, which is NCR, pero here it's quite obvious that the one in Antipolo chose better site than the one in Quezon City. So therefore, the one transmitting in Antipolo would have better coverage than Quezon City. Of course, in this example, the location chosen is arbitrary because I'm not trying to really optimize the coverage. This example aims to simplify the comparison on the proper selection of the transmission location of your TV or radio station. So with that, I hope you learned something and you would be inspired to join the broadcast industry if you are currently an electronics engineering student or aspiring electronics technician. Come join us in the broadcast industry. It's an exciting field wherein you will learn more than other fields of communication. So looking forward to seeing you or meeting you sometime in the future. And I'll be happy to welcome you to our industry. Again, thank you for watching and see you.